Hi crafters, thank you for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the card that I created for Craft Roulette episode number 234. The parameters were the project had to be a 6x6 card, which is not my favorite kind of card. First of all, I don't have 6x6 envelopes, so that's one of the reasons why I don't like them. And you have to have a 12 by 12 cardstock in order to get it to be 6, unless you're going to somehow cut from 8.5 by 11, and then you're going to have to somehow bind the two pieces so that they turn into a card. So I had to pull out some 12 by 12 paper, which I don't have a lot of different colors. So I'll have to show you what I kind of did to get the card the way I wanted it. The colors had to be rainbow. Well, that's easy because every color is in the rainbow. So that wasn't a difficult parameter. The element, a single flower, and random cloth. So the thing that I decided to try to do this week, because the guest was Tiffany Solorio, and she does a lot of multimedia stuff. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do some multimedia on my card this week. So needless to say, I've used a lot of products, and as we look at the card, I'll kind of go through and tell you all that I did. So let's pull in the card. And here it is. Well, I guess we don't need Stampin' Dimensionals, right? So, oops. Well, and it would help, see? I can't even orient a 6x6 in the right way. So, what I decided I wanted to do was I had these brushos from Stampin' Up! That I have never used. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. So I decided to do that. So this is watercolor paper, and I went ahead and I started kind of drawing a flower. And the way the brushos work is when there's water on the paper and then you sprinkle the brushos on, they kind of activate and they kind of do their own thing. Now, if you look at the brushos, each of them doesn't have one specific color. You see it has various colors in them. So that's also what makes it fun. So I started with I just pulled in just a regular brush, and I pulled in some water in my bucket here. And I started drawing kind of a flower, but because I couldn't get the whole flower drawn before the water dried up, I would kind of do one petal at a time, and then I would throw the brushos on top of it and let it do its thing. Well, it just kind of was a hot mess, kind of in between all that. So there were times when I tried other colors, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try spraying it. So at one point when I had some of the brushos on there, I took my little spray mister and I kind of sprayed it. That's what made the paint fly across the page like that. And then, needless to say, that also made the flower look kind of, like disoriented, like it wasn't a flower anymore. It was just a blob of mess. So then I kept trying to create the flower look, and when it was all said and done, I was like, okay, well, I wanted to really make those petals look like there was something there. So I then brought in a liner brush, and I started mixing colors with water from the brushos into this Mary Kay eye makeup palette. I like these because they have these little wells there and you can mix paint in them. And then I just started adding more of a shape to each of the petals to try to get it more like looking like a flower. And then after I did that, I thought, well, it needs a little something more. So because the random was cloth, I brought in this stamp that's called, it's a cheesecloth. So I brought that in and I started stamping that with Daffodil Delight. And if you notice, I did it over the whole thing. So it adds a really nice texture. And then it just added some more interesting looks to this card. And then I thought, well, it's still, I also decided to stamp the cheesecloth down here with I think I used a Mossy Meadow, just to give it a little more, because you really couldn't see the yellow. I mean, you can if you look close, but just to identify that cheesecloth better, I did that with a darker color green there in those various spots. And then I brought in, so I just finished a video, which I haven't uploaded yet because I have to edit it and everything, but I just created 17 cards with the April 2024 paper pumpkin kit. And in that was the stamp set that I used for my sentiment and for this butterfly. And it also had those splatter dots there. So I used those stamps from that paper pumpkin kit and did some stamping, and I pulled in a piece of scrap that once I created this, I cut it down to, I think it was a 5x5 piece, and I had some scraps, so I went ahead and used that to create this banner where I stamped my sentiment on there. And again, it didn't have enough color there, so I went back in with my brushes and a brush and just kind of added some more color there. Now the butterfly, I just stamped that in regular ink with the Daffodil Delight, and then I took a sponge dauber and brought in the Poppy Parade and just went around the butterfly before I stamped it down so that I could get that two-tone. And but then I was still like, okay, I'm still not happy with the flower. So I brought in, because when you do napkin art, you can do a lot of the details with these Pitt Artist pen because they are intended for multimedia. So, when you're doing napkin art and stuff, you're using Mod Podge and stuff like that. And so these Pitt Artist pens are really nice for doing detailing on, multimedia kind of stuff. So I brought that in and started doing some outlining there and some flickers from the center of my flower there. And then I still thought, well, I want a little something more. This card kept morphing over time. So then I brought in my Flower Soft, and I had a really light yellow in here, and I put that in the center of my flower. But then I felt it was so pale, so I brought in a little bit more of this bright orange Flower Soft and put it in the middle there. And then I also put a little bit of that on the butterfly there. So hopefully you can see that. So I brought that in. And then last but not least, the card was, the color of my card base was like Daffodil Delight, but it was too bright and I wanted to tone it down a little. And I suppose I would have used crushed curry had I had crushed curry cardstock in a 12 by 12. So all I did was I took my Daffodil Delight ink pad and I kind of just went around the edges. But then when you opened it up, it was like, okay, well now the inside's really bright. I don't like that. So I just continued inking up to give it a different texture there. And then on the back, it was still bright, so I just kept inking it up. And so it gave it kind of a different look. I like that a lot. And then on the inside, I took some, it wasn't just white, it was a cardstock that had speckles on it. It was from Stampin' Up! From a long time ago. And I cut it down and I went ahead and stamped again, but I did off stamping. I didn't want the cheesecloth to be really bright, but I used Daffodil Delight, but I off stamped it before I put it on here. And then it gave it some more of that grungy look, which I liked. And I did another butterfly here with some more of those speckles like I did on the front of the card. But the sentiment came from, so here are the ones that I did that were from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. But then the sentiment on the inside, because this says surrounding you with love. And the inside says, because he lives, I can face tomorrow. So I thought this card would be really good for somebody who's just gotten bad news. Like I have a friend who just got some bad news about her ovarian cancer returning. So this would be a great card to just let her know that we're surrounding her with love. And, you know, we're praying for her. And then to give her hope that because Jesus lives, we all can face tomorrow. And that stamp came from this great, let's see, I don't know what this is called. Oh, it's called Sweet and Sassy Stamps. But this is the one that Danny from Danny's Dreams gifted me, and I love it. So I went ahead and finally got to use that on a card. So there we go. There is my card for Craft Roulette episode number 234. So there was a lot to this card, and it was something different because I didn't stamp the flower. I created it with my brushos and my paintbrushes, and I like the way it turned out. And so I will be using these brushos more. I think they're a lot of fun. However, they are messy, which I'm usually not a messy kind of crafter, but I can adjust to try new products. And I want to learn more about the brushos because I think they can be a lot of fun. I think you can create some great backgrounds and do some great watercolor paintings. I think they could be a lot of fun. So there we go. There's my card. I hope you enjoyed my card in this video today. If you did, you can show me your joy by giving it a thumbs up. Okay, well, until my next video, have fun crafting, everybody. And remember, choose joy, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.